Hi Taurus sisters, it's Amy Gunther. I want to make a video today to encourage you wives who have found yourselves with husbands now working from home. Or if they aren't yet, they may be soon. This COVID thing, no matter what you think of it, it has affected our lives. That is for sure. And there are a lot of husbands who are now having the opportunity to work from home. That changes things, doesn't it? It changes things tremendously. So I want to encourage you and exhort you a little bit. So first of all, if you're finding yourself sort of struggling with this, first of all, make a list of all the good things about having him home. And there are good things. Of course there are. And when we find ourselves in situations that we're not used to that might lend towards complaining or grumbling, we better stop and start counting our blessings. So make a list of the blessings of him being home. Everything from you're saving on a lot of gas to he probably used to eat out. There's no temptations in the workplace from other women. I'm not saying your husband would do that, but still, the number one place that affairs start is in the workplace. Number one. So right there, huge blessing for him and you of him just being home. Now, before I get too far, I am not saying that all husbands should work from home. I said this on Facebook recently and someone thought I was saying that. I don't think the Bible says that all husbands have to work from home. That's not even practical. It's just, it can't, not all husbands can. But if you're going to make a list of blessings, there are blessings to having him home. Now, I'm always trying to notice, how does culture influence me and my thinking and my behaviors? And I think our culture likes to make fun of husbands. I think our culture likes to make it look like husbands and wives are always at odds with each other. I mean, even, some of the PG movies me and my kids watch, the wife is always ragging on the husband and the husband's always kind of a doofus or a jerk. And that's culture. And it can get ingrained in us. And that is partly why I think some of us, if you struggle with this, because I've heard it from different women, when the husband is home for a day, she'll complain to her girlfriends and say, oh, it really ruined our day. It totally threw us for a loop, and it was a big monkey wrench in our plans, and I couldn't get anything done because he was home. That is grumbling and complaining. And there is some truth to it, but we're going to talk about that in a second. Just because something is true doesn't mean you need to complain about it. It means you need to change your perspective on just what the facts of life are. Because that's just a matter of what's going to happen. Your husband's home. Are you going to be a complainer about it, or are you just going to work with it? And the culture says complain about it. That's what culture says. Complain about your husband because that's cute. Have wine time with the girls and gripe about your hubbies. Now, I do think if there's serious issues in your marriage and your husband has serious issues, you ought to confide in someone. So I'm not saying to stay silent. I've seen damage in the mainstream church from making women completely stay silent about their husband's issues. But this, no, try to shift your thinking. So make a list of all the blessings and good things about him working from home. And you might have to review it from time to time and then have a really honest conversation with him, because this might go on for a long time. Talk to him and say, I feel like it's a monkey wrench when you're home. What can we do to make it work? Because ultimately, wives, I believe you have to, because you're sort of the manager of the home, right? You're deciding when homeschool is, when lunch is, how this works, when I'm going to run this errand, when I'm going to make these appointments. You're going to have to now shift how you do that because your hubby is home. He just is home. You can't change that. You have to just embrace it and work with it. So start changing things. Start reworking the way you manage your home. Your schedule might have to change. Even I was thinking about practical ideas to help you, and I was talking with someone recently, and her husband is going to need an office, a place to work where he can shut the door and have quiet because he makes phone calls. And there's nowhere to do that. So they're going to make the kids share a room. Ta-da! And as soon as it was said out loud, everyone said, oh yeah, that makes sense. So are the kids happy? No, but the life does not revolve around the children. The husband needs this. He needs that place with a door that can close. And if the only way to do that is to make your kids bunk up together, then guess what, kids? So be creative and be drastic. Like for some families, oh, my children can't have their own rooms. That's so drastic. Well, be drastic. These are drastic times. It's okay. Your kids will be okay. And again, they don't get to grumble and complain. Go see my other video about homeschooling. Anyway, so be creative and think. And if you still don't have enough space, I will say this to husbands, you probably don't need an entire room all to yourself. I was thinking about this. A lot of you just don't have that much space. You can never fit 2 kids and all their clothes and all their toys into one room, or 3. So some of their stuff might have to stay in daddy's office. Here's a creative idea. I think it's unlikely that your kids will be sleeping at the same time daddy is working, unless you have little tiny kids who nap. But if you have bigger kids like I do, maybe daddy's desk, because he probably only needs a desk, can stay in the room where the bunk beds are. But all the clothes and the toys go into a different room. So the kids, in a sense, have their lives sort of split. So they sleep in one room where their beds are, but another room has their toys and their clothes. So that during the day you can change their clothes and they can get to their toys. But daddy still has a quiet room where he has his desk and he can shut the door, because your kids don't need to go sleep from 8 to 5. Do you see what I'm saying? Now, again, if you have nappers, you might have to get creative. Put a pack and play in the laundry room where you can close the door and so they can nap. Get creative. Because if daddy needs it, daddy needs it. And you've got to let him and support him and help him. We're helpers, right? You have to help him be able to do his job and to do it well. And the rest of the family needs to accommodate that. And what a beautiful lesson to teach your kids. Dying to self. Saying, Daddy, yeah, have my room. Totally. What a beautiful thing that your child has learned. To die of self and to give something to someone else in the family. So get creative. Don't be afraid to be drastic. I mean, I don't think you have to add on to your house or anything, but who knows if this thing keeps going. I don't know. But I have found that with homeschool, so a lot of us are homeschoolers who now you might have dad home. I have never found that having a homeschooling room works well. We have always ended up homeschooling at the dining room table so that I'm close to the kitchen. And sometimes we spread throughout the whole house. Like my kids will read their science books in their bed or whatever. But so if you have a homeschool room right now, you might want to consider making that daddy's office. And maybe each kid, this is the time for each kid to have a crate of just what they need for the day. And so every day they bring out their crate, and then daddy goes in there and closes the door, because for the most part you don't need anything else in there. And if you do, the mom can go into that room, get what she needs, and come out, because moms know how to go in there quietly. A kid just, slams doors and goes in. So maybe the homeschooling room can be daddy's office. Mom goes in there to get what's needed. The kids have most of their stuff in a crate that they just get one time. So you see what I'm saying? Be creative, but make it easy for him to work from home. It might mean you have to change what you make for lunch, because now daddy's eating lunch. Peanut butter and jelly, you might not cut it all the time. But make it easy for him. Make him know that he is welcome there. Don't make him feel like he's ruining your life. Because you might have other problems. Like if he's truly driving you crazy, you might have other problems in your marriage. So go get some help. But this often is just, we need to tweak our thinking. And daddy has to accommodate too. I'm not saying that daddy gets to be a dictator and be a big jerk. No. He needs to be accommodating at some point. Because even with the door shut, there's going to be background noise. You really can't keep kids silent from 8 to 5. And his clients or whoever. Nowadays with COVID, everybody just understands there's kids. Everybody understands that. So, your husband needs to not have perfection as his standard either, because you're a family unit, you're going to work together. But wives, I encourage you, you can do it. And I hope and pray it will be a big blessing to you, that your family will save money with him being at home, and that you'll just enjoy more daddy time. Because in the end, that's what you get, right? The kids see the daddy at lunch. There's no commute time. And if you haven't been doing family devotions, now's the time to start. Because if daddy's home, and I imagine too busy has always been the excuse, but now if he's home, you better start family devotions, because now you have no excuses. He has zero commute. So encourage him, and it's the tone that the wives set. The whole family follows that tone. So set a tone of gratefulness and peace, and also dying to self, and watch the rest of the family sort of start to follow your lead. Now, I do think the daddy sends this down, but the wife, we can ruin it like that, can't we, ladies? So every morning before you get out of bed, the days are hard when you have kids, I know, you pray before you even open your eyes. You pray and you ask the Father to give you strength to not only just survive the day. You don't want to just survive through the days. You want to thrive every day and give your family the best you that you can. And I'm talking to myself too, because sometimes I start the whole day off with a bad attitude for no reason at all. So I am talking to myself too. So I'm praying for you. I hope that it just goes wonderful for you guys. Bye.